education sector headquarters. It's March Madness time, so you know what that means. Time to get those brackets filled out. And all I have to say, Mandy, is that you are totally going down.
I don't think so. I have BYU going all the way to the final against Harvard.
Against Harvard? BYU against Harvard? Well, I'm not quite sure where you're getting your data from. Are you basing that off of mascots? Cosmo the Cougar versus John Harvard?
No, this year I decided to take a more scientific approach.
A more scientific approach based on what? Because it's certainly not based on win-loss records, nor is it based on the strength of someone's division.
Well, as I was trying to tell you, I base it off each university's debt-to-credential ratio.
Can you tell me more about the debt-to-credential ratio? Because I'm not quite sure what that is.
Sure, just let me explain. The debt-to-credential ratio is the total money borrowed by undergraduates divided by the total number of degrees. Thus, the lower the ratio, the better job the university is doing at graduating its students and graduating them with less debt. Check out the bracket. For example, the ratio at Long Island University is about 45,000. This means that LIU produced more than $40,000 of debt for every undergraduate degree awarded. This is the highest ratio in our bracket, and they get walloped by Michigan State. In fact, that's more than double the national average of 18,000. Other worst offenders above 30K include Norfolk State and St. Bonaventure.
Well, as someone who graduated with student loan debt, I wonder how my undergrad and grad institutions fare. Interestingly enough, my alma maters, Wisconsin and Harvard, square off against each other. Both have debt-to-credential ratios lower than the national average, but Harvard dominates with a very low ratio of around $6,000 compared to UW's $12,000.
And thanks to that very low ratio, Harvard makes it to the Final Four.
Along with perennial basketball powerhouses like Duke and UNC. Your bracket just might have a winning shot, well, until we see the final game. I have to say, a BYU-Harvard matchup is still extremely unlikely.
You know, I expected Harvard to be in the final, given their high graduation rate and robust financial aid. But why do you think BYU goes on to win?
You know, that's an interesting question. Although BYU's graduation rate is not as high as Harvard's, they have much lower tuition comparatively. And they only managed to beat Harvard by a razor-thin margin of about $500. It looks like both are doing a pretty good job of graduating students and doing so with less debt. But BYU just manages to squeak by on this one.
See, my bracket is legit.
I guess, but I don't think I will use your method for my own bracket. As my colleague, though, I encourage you to enter this bracket.
Wait, what does that do again?
So that's all we have time for now. We wish everybody luck in their brackets. And as a side note, go Badgers.
Go Buckeyes!